section. So again, one of the last things you're gonna do is really figure out how to work with the mouth. And if you are actually cutting off this part of it, you're gonna need to start with a sharp knife, so please be careful. Make sure that the tip of the knife is also nice and pointed and sharp. You can always have something down beneath it just to make sure that you can cut it. And you want to do this carefully. This part right here might be a little bit too thick. Now, unlike with the base, when you cut the base off, I recommended here, guys, with this, that I would just use the hobby knife or X-Acto knife to make sure you cut the whole thing off, because it's going to be hard to get scissors in that little spot. Be patient, take your time, stay focused. And if your blade seems to come out a little bit, with the ones I have here, that loosens it. So I just make sure it's pushed down and I tighten it. So you can actually go back in and cut. Once you start from a side, it does take a little bit of time. So please make sure you take your time, and more than anything, stay focused. If it's a little bit too hard to cut, because again, I'm trying to go as close to the neck as I can, and that plastic is a little bit thicker, take your time. If you need to move it up a little bit or more into the rest of the fish part, you can. And you can see it's like I'm fighting with it a tad bit, but I want to do a nice job. It's kind of like waiting to watch paint dry, but you want to be super careful. So I have a good chunk of it cut off. I'm just ready. I got a little bit more to go. And this part of the bottle is definitely not easy to cut, but you needed to make sure you waited till the end to do this part anyway. And I can always go through then with scissors and retrim as needed. Almost there. One more little section. Okay, so I have that part of my fish. You can kind of see it, it's right there. So now that I have it, now this one wasn't ready really for that part of it. I just wanted to show you how to do that. If you ended up scrunching parts of it down, you can always go back in and push them out. So you can see I'm doing that from this part here. Then you're going to want to think about what to do with the end of your mouth. So the one that I had earlier, this is the one that I cut out. I made this one a little bit wider. I can go back in and paint in some of the fish. The tropical fish almost look like they have lips. So if I wanted to, I could just redraw on here and repaint. I could put a pattern design around that if I wanted to. But you want to make sure that your fish is ready to go and has all of the parts thought about. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording that, but you have a couple options for your mouths. And then, of course, you know, again, I would do the eyes first, reserve the mouth for the very last thing. And then here is that one example of one that was done. And the person painted the mouth, and it really came out super nice. So there was that one example, too, to show you guys. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop recording, and then I'll ask for